Hey everyone, Steven here, and today I'm reviewing the Govee Dreamview G1 Pro, which just launched, and it's essentially their Immersion product used with TVs, but for the PC monitor. They do recommend this for monitors 24 to 30 inches, by the way. Inside of the box you will find the gaming camera, 2 light bars, the neon light strip, mounting clips, cable clips, positioning cards for 21:9 aspect and 16:9 aspect ratio monitors, foam stickers for calibration, headphone linking cable, power adapter, quick start guide, and user manual. For the review today, I will be only showcasing the game and movie modes, which use the camera to capture colors from your monitor and then translates that to the lights. I'll do a separate video on the other light modes if people are interested. I know the main reason people will be interested in this product though is for the game and movie mode. The other modes this has available are the same you will find on most of the other Govee products. For specification, this doesn't list much, but it is AC 100 to 240 volts. For the power, it is 12 volt DC at 3 amps for the input. The color is RGBIC with 16.8 million colors. The camera is 1080p. The light bar is 3.39 inches wide and deep and is 16.69 inches tall. The light strip is 0.63 inches wide and deep, and then it is 55.12 inches long. It says the cord length is 70.87 inches long, but it doesn't specify which cord, and to me, without completely dismantling my setup for this and measuring the power adapter cable and the cable between the 2 light bars, they seem to be the same length, so my guess is that it actually applies to both of these. The price tag for this is $179.99, but it's currently discounted on their website to $149.99, and I was able to get mine with a $50 off coupon on Amazon, which dropped this down to $139.99. Moving on from these specs, let's talk about setup really quick. This did take a little bit longer than it normally would, as my monitor is one the company doesn't recommend you put this on due to the shape, and it's also 32 inches. I ended up using the 21:9 aspect ratio positioning card for this, even though mine is a 16:9 aspect ratio monitor, but I was able to get everything lined up, but just barely. I do like these positioning cards because it made putting the light strip clips on the monitor a breeze. After installing the light bar, I realized I should have taken the positioning card off to use on another monitor, but I didn't want to mess with it, so I ended up just ripping this off. I would say that's one thing that's kind of a glaring problem to me, is it should include at least a couple sets of these positioning cards and the mounting clips, because you are more than likely going to be using this on one other, if not 2 other monitors, if you're going to keep this product long term. The light strip does fit very securely in the mounting clips, so I think they did a good job there. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall out at all. Very, very secure. It will sag though if you do not pull this tight through those clips, just a heads up. After that, I got the gaming camera set up on top of the monitor as close to center as I could eyeball, and this does have the 3M tape on it, just like the mounting clips, so it will stay put on the monitor. I plugged everything in and then added the product on the Govee app, which I have a lot of their other products, and I think their app is definitely one of the selling points with their products because it's easy to use and very user friendly. Once you add the product, it will take you through the installation process, which ends in the screen calibration, which this is where the foam pads come into play, as they are markers you can use to help set the framing of your monitor screen, which the camera uses as reference points for the colors that it's going to then translate to the light strips. After that, I was good to go and test this thing out. A quick side note, you may need to go through that process again in terms of calibration once everything is set up, if it doesn't seem like it's picking up the lights off of your monitor screen very well. And now for the rest of the video, I will be showcasing what this actually looks like when you're playing games. When you have the app and you pull it up for video, which is only what I'll be showcasing for this, like I mentioned earlier, you have game and movie mode. Under the game mode, you have story, action, shoot, racing. I will make sure that these are labeled on screen, letting you know which one I'm actually utilizing at that moment, covering the same scene in certain instances so you can see what the difference with the lighting may be here. So we have the game one, and then for movie, you have same color, so that will be the same color for all the different lighting sources, different colors, so we'll have different colors on these things. whole bar, so it won't try to actually break these into sections. So it'll actually break the sections down on the bars and the light strip itself, and then bar segments, which it seems like it actually segments that even further. I would say it's kind of hard for my eye to discern a huge difference sometimes between these modes, and I don't know if that really has to do just with whatever I'm playing, whatever the source is with that. In certain instances, it's like, okay, there's a very big difference, especially when it's doing, for instance, the whole bar. So it's doing everything across whatever the color is across every lighting source versus trying to break it up. And you have like on the left hand side, it may be like a blue, and on the right hand side, it may be a red. It's doing like all red. That I can see. Some of them are very, very small. So it's, like I said, it's harder to discern in certain instances without looking directly at the light source and then being like, oh, on these bars, you can see that there's the bottom section, middle section, and an upper section are all different colors versus all one same color. I do like these. I will say that. I think the price at $180, that seems pretty steep for what this is. And you don't get the extra clips. You don't get the extra setup for the monitors in terms of the placement for the clips on the back of the monitor, those little pieces of paper. I wish that had been in there. We had extra ones with this because, like I said, you're more than likely going to change monitors at some point, and spending $180, and I don't see a way to actually get those. Maybe I can reach out to the company and get some, but that's concerning. Overall, I am happy with the look. I would say the steeper price point is going to definitely put this outside of a lot of people's willingness to pay for this. On the discount at the $130, $139, $140 that I paid, a little bit more reasonable. I could definitely see this being like $120, $120, and being something that a lot more people would be willing to pay for this. I think the effect is really cool, but you're dealing with extra cables on your desk. I think that's a downside. The camera on this, I get it because it's what they use with the TV, but you're dealing with a PC, and it's probably hard to develop the software for this. And I know that's an extra cost, but I think this would be a better product if it was doing it like the Logitech G560 speakers do it. They do screen sampling is what they call it. Razer has like ambient lighting, I believe. But with either one of those, it's you highlight zones on the PC and off whatever is being displayed on the monitor, and within those zones, it will then just mimic those colors. So for my speakers, that's what it does. Where this is trying to actually utilize this camera in order to do that. And I've noticed, even though it has 16.8 million potential colors, it kind of just placates to the bigger colors. So you're seeing blue, red, orange, green, purple. There's some in-between colors that my Logitech speakers can display that this will not display. And I think if it had been software with this and just trying to literally taking the colors that are on screen versus utilizing a camera and trying to pick it up that way, it would have been better. And I could see this in certain instances where whatever is actually on screen, it just like throws a red or a different color at it, and it's not even close to whatever color is on screen. All right, so in conclusion, I want to wrap this thing up before I start rambling a ton with this. Let's talk about the pros. I think the colors with this, what it can actually display, does look really, really good. It may not be able to mimic all the colors on screen, but it's still a cool lighting effect with this. I like how tall the light bars are. They are slim, they're pretty low profile. The light ring on the back, so you have these 3 different sources for being able to display these colors. And especially if it's going to work well with the monitor in terms of the placement. Again, mine wasn't quite the right fit, but I made it work. I think going off of all 3, it looks great. I think you could also get away with just the light bars. I could see them having a cheaper version where they don't have the light strip for the back of the monitor and you just have the 2 standing light bars. That would be something cool at a cheaper price point with this. I like the subtle differences you do see with the change going from game to movie mode. They are subtle in certain instances and more pronounced in other instances, but they do offer some variability here, and I like that versus just being set. One other thing I haven't covered yet is the fact that you can turn this so that it will react with sound as well, and you can adjust the softness, so you can have this so it's an abrupt flash or it's a little bit softer. I do like that addition to this as well. If there's not a lot of movement in whatever game you're playing, this will allow this to give just an extra pop of that color with this. And the app, which you control this through the app, that's another big upside, and I've said that about all of their different products. It's just very easy to use. I mentioned that earlier on in the video as well. I would say downsides with this: extra cables on the desk or just at least hanging around, especially on the back of the monitor. You do have a camera now on top of your monitor. That can be a bummer, because I think the better route would have been software here for sure. And I think this is more apparent in games that have maybe not as vibrant of a color palette with it. Now, it does mimic some of these things, so we get some whites and some darker tones to these colors, but playing God of War, there are certain instances where it looked pretty good, and then others where it's creating these darker oranges or reds, and it just didn't quite fit the game. So if you're going and you're going to play, like, man, I want to play Dark Souls or Elden Ring, and it's going to be a game like that, and that's really what you play, this may be something where I could go either way. It adds a bunch of color to a game that really doesn't have a lot of color, and you like that, or it's adding color because it can't really mimic the lack of color that the game has. So when you're looking at these shades, to me, like, these colors are kind of dull, right? Meaning they're not vibrant. It can't quite mimic that. So it may be something where you're like, I don't like the fact that it's bringing this vibrancy to this game, where I wish these could actually do this with a color palette that more matches what I'm seeing in game, because it's really just going to be super vibrant when it comes to the colors with this. That's really the big one. I think the other one is honestly just going to be the price. I think for what it is at $180, it is definitely overpriced. You start getting down to $100, $120, I think that is far more reasonable. So definitely get this thing on a sale if you want to pick it up. If you're looking at, well, I want that same thing. Like, if I look at my Logitech speakers, I paid $200 for those on sale, and they're 240 watt speakers. You get the speaker and the light, the screen sampling with that for 20 bucks more than what this is going to ask for at its normal asking price. Now, again, you go to $100, $120, I think it is more reasonable, but that's one of those things that's definitely just my opinion on this. If you're looking for cool lighting for your PC and you're okay with the cables and the camera on top and the price isn't an issue for you, I think this is a really, really cool product to add to your lineup. Because now I have this, I have the Govee Glide, which I actually may take down. This thing looks so good. I think I'm going to take not the Glide, the rope, the Govee rope. I think I'm going to take that off of my 3D panels here, because this emits so much light. It definitely looks way better than that. And I can utilize this as the background for my videos now over the rope. But I will have a link for this in the description. Let me know if you do want to see a video on the other lighting options that you have with this. Again, these are lighting options that you would find with all their other products, but how it would look with this product over those other products. And then look for a discount with this. Right now, I think it's still 50 bucks off on Amazon. Go that route. There isn't really a reason, because they're usually on sale on Amazon or their website. There's usually a discount somewhere to be found with Govee. Definitely don't pay the full price for this. But if you guys have any questions, let me know in the comment section. If you like the video, hit the like button for me. If you want to continue to follow along with all my content, hit the subscribe button for me. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.